Hi, I'm Mike Brodsky. I'm president of Entre Computer Solutions, and I'm delighted to have Sean Gomez with us today. Sean is in charge of our technical hardware department, and he's been with Entre for 5 years, and it's a pleasure to be able to introduce him to you today. Sean, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Uh, Sean, like Mike said, I've been here for 5 years. I'm lucky enough to have grown up with technology, like a lot of people, like a lot of millennials, people my age. My dad gave me his hand-me-down Gateway 2000 when I was probably 8, 9, 10, something in that range, and I remember very vividly breaking it a few times, not on purpose, of course, but breaking it and having no option but to figure out how to get in the BIOS and tinker and fix it, or else I didn't have a computer. So I probably should have known then at 9 years old that I should get into this. But I used to also take apart my cousin's calculators when she would babysit me, just because I liked seeing what was inside. Another clue that I probably should have been doing this earlier. But I really didn't get into tech at all until professionally until 5 to 10 years ago or something in that time frame. Before that, I did a lot of music. I've been lucky enough to have some great friends that I still am in a band with. They're all busy with their wives and kids, so we get together when we can. But I still have that outlet to produce for them and make some music with them, and that kept me busy for a lot of my 20s.
Yeah, yeah. Let's give the band a plug. What's it called?
The Poets Dance.
The Poets Dance, and I've heard them. They're very good, and they're on YouTube.
Oh yeah, we got some YouTube, some stuff on Spotify years ago.
Yeah, if you're interested, go see Sean wearing his other hat. Now he does wear another hat here too. He started doing deliveries, but he is in our E&M, our EntreNet monitoring area as well. So he actually came to Kurt and I about a year ago, maybe a little bit longer. Said, "Hey, I'm doing E&M, but I also want to be manager of your service department. How about I do both jobs?" And I will tell you, he is doing both jobs very, very well. And in fact, he has done both jobs so well that last year he won the Employee of the Year.
That's right.
So it was a great honor to recognize him for that. And that was not decided by Kurt and I, but that was decided by all the other Entre employees. So they recognize his good work as well. What is the most common things that end users call you about in the hardware service department?
Yeah, folks calling in, we get a lot of calls on a pop-up on their PC that says, Microsoft wants me to call them. Either hopefully they stop there and call us and say, what do I do? A lot of them have already called the number. Somebody remotes in claiming to be Microsoft, and then it installs some. They try to trick you into thinking they're helping you and cleaning your PC, but ultimately at the end of the day, they just want your money. They're going to install some program in the background, and $300 a year, we'll keep an eye on your PC. So it's what's called a phishing pop-up, and it's really not much different than you can think of as like a pop-up ad like you used to get browsing AOL all the time. You're on a website and then just whoop. Yep. Same thing, except for these are full screen. It's often red, and there's it might send some audio through your speaker and tell you, this is Microsoft, please call us. Anything they can do to scare you into, oh my gosh, I have a serious problem, I have to call these guys. And 9 times out of 10, I run the scans. There was nothing wrong with it to begin with. Again, it's just to trick you into calling them. So very common these days. And
Sure.
Perfect.
Yeah. So Sean, someone calls you up and they have one of these pop-ups. They take a few minutes to find our number. What should they do if they see the pop-up? What should they turn off their computer? Should they unplug it from the internet? Should they? What should they do?
Great question. Yeah, they should definitely give us a call. Most importantly, do not call the number. Do not give anybody a chance to remote in. And that's a. I can't think of a single good example where anybody's computer has told them to call and it's been legitimate. Whether they claim it's from Microsoft or your manufacturer, HP, or whoever it is, there are very few, if any, legitimate reasons why your computer is going to say, please call us on the phone. So anytime you see anything like that, give us a call. A lot of the times, those pop-ups, you can't exit out of the screen. You can't close the window. You can do it if you use the Control and Delete and get into the Task Manager, but that's what we're here for. So if you're not comfortable with that stuff, just give us a call and we'll take it from there. As an absolute last resort, if you need your PC back and you can't get it to close, nothing's working, you can just hold the power button down for about 5 to 10 seconds, and that will hard shut it off. When it comes back up, you should find that it's gone. But I would still recommend giving us a call.
It's gone until you go back into the browser.
Right, often.
Yeah. I did a commercial for somebody just the other day, and I can tell you, agree with me or not, Microsoft's a little bit too busy to be worrying about an individual's computer.
Yep.
You know, in Rockford, Illinois, or McChesney Park, or Lowe's Park, they're probably not going to.
Yeah, your biggest clue there is if you try to get a hold of Microsoft, good luck. I mean, there's a system in place where you can submit a claim and they call you back, and typically you might take a half an hour to an hour or more for them to call you back. It's hard to get a hold of Microsoft because they're such a big company that, you know, they millions and millions of PCs and Windows operating systems all around the world. Yeah. So exactly to your point, they don't have time to be, oh, hey, we noticed a virus on your PC. No, they're not going to call you for that.
So what's the best thing someone can do at home to protect themselves from threats?
Another good question. They as you're there's a few things here. So as you're browsing, I would say it's very important to have an ad blocker. Can go a long way to help to prevent those ads from popping up in the first time. Nothing is perfect, but they do help. Mm-hmm. If you just get into your browser extensions, you can find more extensions and then just search for ad blocker. There's a few different options out there. So that's a good one. The other one is unique passwords, and I think we've talked about this before. Unique passwords, and the next step is even further, a password manager. Mm-hmm. So that's a nice utility that often loads as an extension to your browser, where you set it up, you get everything going. You have one master password that you type in, and then it remembers all of the rest of your passwords. And this is great for on the user end, because you don't have to remember 50 different passwords to 50 different websites.
Good point.
The other thing that it does, which is nice, is those individual passwords, they can all be unique and they can be gibberish because you don't have to type them in. Right. So not only are those individually harder to crack, but if one website is compromised and data gets released, you don't have the same password across 50 different websites. And now, if somebody gets a hold of that password, that list, they're going to try your password on chase.com. And if that's the same as your password on amazon.com or wherever it was that was breached, then you have an issue. So having those unique individual passwords across all the websites, you just got to remember one master password. It's definitely the best.
Let me add a few more just real quick. Whether you're at your office or at home, virus protection is key. Very good point. Do not use the same password for your corporate account as you use for any other account. And you should have at least, the password generator is very good, but if you don't put in a password generator, you should have at least 12 character passwords in all of your accounts. And there should be a number, a capital letter, and a combination of numbers and letters and characters. So keep that in mind, and we've got some very good virus protection. We use Bitdefender here, but there's a lot of good virus protection out there. So again, you can call Sean at 815-399-5683 and ask him questions. One final question, and one of the things that you brought to the table when you got here was the ability to do screen repairs on mobile devices. Yeah. Chat about that for a minute and let people know what you can and cannot do.
Yeah, I mean, most things you bring to me, whether or not I've done them before, a lot of them are very similar, or especially among iPhones, it's the same process, maybe a different screw here, a different screw there. So I mean, we see a lot of iPhones and Samsungs. Those are probably the more popular brands out there, and they're also more expensive. So if you break that screen, it makes more sense to repair it than it does to replace it. Right. Might not be the case in a little bit less expensive phone. But yeah, just give me a call and we can get you a price quote on what it costs to repair and what the screen cost is, which at the end of the day, that ends up being availability of the screen part and what that cost is kind of the biggest factor there. But they're generally not too crazy to fix up.
So just to recap, so not only is Sean a phenomenal repair guy, and he runs a tight ship in the repair department, warranties, end users bring in PCs and laptops and printers in, but he works in our managed service department as well,
Thank you.
thank you. Call us at 815-399-5683 if you want more information from Sean.
Love to help you.
All right.